Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to the latest episode of the Hard Compound Live. For those of you who don't know, my name is Rich and I run and operate the Hard Compound. We are a one-stop shop for all things motorsport, 4 wheels, 2 wheels, open wheels, on track, off track, touring cars, rallying, all that kind of stuff. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, and we put out 2 or 3 posts a day in the form of race reviews, race previews, throwbacks, birthdays, livery reveals, breaking news, and everything in between. So do give us a follow: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Search for the Hard Compound. Give us a follow, hit the notification bell, add the Hard Compound to your hashtag, subscribe over on YouTube so you don't miss out on all of the good motorsport stuff. This is episode number 87, excuse me, of these live interviews, which is another thing that we do. These are streamed live on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitter. They're automatically saved on all 3 platforms once we're finished, in the video section on our Facebook page, and in the live section on our YouTube channel. We've had we've had many guests coming on. As I said, we've had 87 other guests on from across the motorsport world. We're not going to name them all, but we've had the honor and the privilege of speaking with Mr. Mario Andretti and with Jackie Ickx. From the F1 sports car, IndyCar world, we've also spoken with Mr. Alex Caffey, with Mr. Roberto Guerrero, Mr. Raul Boesel, we've spoken with Nicholas Prost, Carl Wendlinger, Ari Leindijk, Raul Boesel, Mika Salo, Linson James, Al Unser, Danny Sullivan. We've spoken with Mark Sura. Just the other week from the rallying world, we spoke with Mr. Petter Solberg, which was terrific. But if you're tuning in tonight, the likelihood is you might be a touring car fan. We've spoken with people past and present from there, from those worlds, with Mr. Dick Bennett, the boss of West Surrey Racing, absolute legend in the world of touring cars and in motorsport in general. We've also spoken with drivers past and present from the British Touring Car Championship, namely the likes of Mr. Rob Gravitt, Frank Sittner, Graham Good, John Cleland, Steve Soper, Anthony Reid, Ivan Muller, Gabriele Tarquini, Andy Prio, Tom Coronel, and many more. So they're all saved on our Facebook and our YouTube. Do go and check them out, but don't do it just yet, because alongside those touring car legends, we have another one joining us this evening. He's a multiple Italian, world, and European touring car champion, double British touring car champion, and he cut his teeth in some of the best single-seater racing of the late 1980s, which was a fantastic era. So without any further ado, we're going to bring him in right now. Please join me in extending a very warm welcome to Mr. Fabrizio Giovanardi.
Hello, guys.
How are you? Fabrizio, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm all right. A bit old, but I'm all right.
I know the feeling. Well, firstly, thank you very much for coming on and having a chat. I know a lot of people have been looking forward to this one this evening. So, yeah, we appreciate you sparing some of your evening to come and have a chat with us. It's much appreciated.
Thank you.
Good stuff. Right, very quickly before we get started, just going to turn my attention to the comment section over here. We've had a few comments coming in already. Andy, Thomas, Stephen, Difan, good evening. If you have any questions or comments, do put them in the comment section, and we'll see them in real time. So we'll try and work any questions in, or if you want to have a little discussion about your memories of watching Fabrizio race, then you can do that as well. So thank you everyone for joining us. We're going to get started. Firstly, Fabrizio, how has the year started for you? Has it been okay so far?
Say again, sorry?
How has the year started for you? Has it been okay?
Yeah,
not too bad.
Everything.
We're surviving. It's good to hear. Right, onto the motorsport side. Obviously, you're from a part of Italy that's fairly well known for its cars and for, and well, you're only a few miles down the road from a certain prancing horse town.
Very close. Very close. I can hear the car when they're not running a lot because the rules doesn't give them the possibility to run. But yes, it's very close.
It's just down the road. I mean, I guess, was that an influence in your interest in motorsport from when you were young, or did it come from the family, or how did it all start?
Not really, because I've started riding bikes, motocross bikes. Honestly, I started to go in the bike at 6 years old. So it's why I was very very interesting in engine, But then it was, I don't know why I've started to race in cars or in karting before. Maybe just the right occasion, Do you know Montemini, Andrea Montemini? It's close to me. We are good friends. So I was 16, 15 years old, when I met him, and he was really passionate on radio control cars. So we start to race in the town. They organize city town racing with RC models. So it's why we start together to play with cars.
That's fantastic. Just playing playing with cars and having some fun with it.
Yes.
I mean, obviously, he went off into F1, and he had a big accident and everything. So we hope he's well. But it's great to hear that. Yeah, it's great to hear his name. I haven't heard him for a while. But when did you start thinking we want to move from the radio control car into the real thing? Obviously, you had started in karting at this point.
We brought together one really old kart, really bad kart, really out of rules karts from another friends, and we try to involve the family in the racing, but my father and his father, they said no way. So we don't want to hear any more karting or something like that.
They just said you are on your own.
Yeah. So no. They say no way. don't talk about karting or something that is racing, or because family is just thinking about work. So they want you involved in the family, in the company. But we were really young, really savage. Really we don't want to work in the family company anymore, anytime. And we decided to buy this car, and I moved from here to close Bologna in karting circuits to try to make a race, but the kart was not in the rules, so they say no way with this car to have any race. So my career was stopped there.
Right, they kind of stopped before it got started. They just didn't let you go in
for a while. 4 years later, I was 16. So now 16 guys racing in Formula One, but it was another time. I was 16, and I tried to find some money from my grandfather, around friends, to try to buy another car, and I was able to do that. And they made a mono brands racing car with the Cali kart. It now is GRZ is another brand.
The GRC Cup.
Yeah. I finished third, and I won one frame for the next category. But I was without money. My father said no way. I was without money, so I made just one race in the end of the year, close to here. That was really famous circuits in Parma. Now it's been destroyed, and I was faster than the official driver of Tony Kart.
Wow.
Yeah, and Roberto Robazzi is the owner of Tony Kart. They said, "You want to race with us?" I said, "Okay, but I have no money." "Okay, no problem." So it's why I started to race in karting.
Oh wow!
Then I won the World Championship and the Italian Championship with them.
Wow, I think that's amazing. That, I mean, maybe one of the few people to be noticed just on your ability, because obviously money, it's so important in motorsport. It was then, it's probably even more so now. It's just nice that they took you on just because you were good. And
it was different time. Even later, it was different time. I mean, now it's impossible if you haven't any pushing from sponsorship or knowledge from someone. in that time was a bit easier. I mean, all the manufacturers involved, they were interested in good drivers.
Yeah.
Obviously, even there was a driver with money or something like that, but really less. There was Marlboro, there was sponsorship, important sponsorship, like this is a Red Bull now.
Yeah. Yeah, there was like the big names were there to be able to pick the best drivers almost. I mean, you mentioned that you won the karting like world championships, you won national championships. I guess when you started to win those races and those events, did you start thinking, this is something that I'd like to make a career out of? I'm obviously quite good at it. And did you start looking at moving into cars at that time after you won
Yes,
the
it's
championship?
quite natural to think about the futures over four wheels. Obviously, Formula One,
Of course, yeah.
but the difficulty in front to try to go in that world, it's not easy. It wasn't easy anyway. Anyway, I was lucky even in that time because my uncle was a rally driver. He was already involved in racing. I mean, and his why then he helped me to make the jump in Formula 3.
Because what I found from the research I've done here was you went straight from karting into Formula 3. Is that right? That's a big jump because obviously it's normally Formula Ford and then the regional series and things like that. But you went straight to Formula 3. I mean, that must have been quite a change, like a wing car and all that kind of thing.
Not really, honestly. Not really. I've jumped in Formula 3 because it was natural jump to try to shortcut
Yes.
the career. When you start to race at 20 years old, you have to shortcut the way. But even because big sponsors like Camel or Marlboro was involved in Formula 3 and Formula 3000, so immediately when I won the World Championship in karting, I was noticed by Camel and even Marlboro, because all the years the Marlboro was organizing a test with Formula 3 here in Imola, and they went to ask me if I was interested to go, but in the same time Camel made the same move. But Camel said, okay, if you want to stay under the brand, we can pay you the season or help to pay the season, right. Even in Formula 3, even later.
Wow.
Even later in Formula 3000. And I said no to Marlboro. It was a big mistake, but in that moment, Camel was sponsored the Lotus. It was sponsored many cars, the Benetton and different cars. So it was balanced to Marlboro. Camel was the same.
Same. I guess. Yeah, I mean, it was a bit
the
later
same investments.
Yeah, it was a bit later that Marlboro sort of went up with McLaren. But so you made the move into Formula 3. Obviously, you had you had some help from the sponsors and everything. Did you have any expectations of yourself going into that year, or was it just a case of getting used to a car? And I mean, you took a podium finish in that first year. Were you expecting to be running at the front?
Honestly, I was expecting to do better in the first year than it was. But not my car. They choose. We chosen the Reynard, and the Reynard over the Italian Championship. It wasn't the best car to have. There was the Dallara. It was better cars, but even because in the Italian mafia, the big teams, they were really close with the Dallara, and they were really close in the Alfa Romeo engine.
Right.
I made different choice. Reynard, English car with the Volkswagen engine. So I was really like a salmon when it goes
Yeah, you were swimming the
yeah.
I mean, I spoke with Alex Caffey, and he mentioned about the mafia and Dallara and all that kind of thing. I couldn't believe it. I thought he was lying to me, but he obviously wasn't. But so you were quite disappointed with the first year, but you had you had a podium finish and things like that.
Yeah, in Imola.
Yeah, Imola. And you stayed with the team the following year, and you took your first wins. One was at Vallelunga, which looking over your career, you seem to have done quite well there. You seem to win a lot. But what I wanted to talk about was the race. Was it at Ennapagusa, the one around the lake?
With the Formula 3.
That's a circuit that people don't really talk about.
It's very strange circuits. I'm called King of Pergusa because even later with touring cars, I was really in a good feeling with that circuits, and I won a lot in that circuits. It's very strange.
Yeah,
it's very crazy.
I spoke with Carl Wendlinger, and he said he drove like some like GT cars around there. And he said he doesn't know why, but it feels different to any other circuit. It's just a very strange circuit, but a really good one. That it doesn't get used. It doesn't get used as often as it should. But to get those first 2 wins, I guess that was a like relief. I guess obviously you're happy you've won, but it was like, okay, I've got the first 2 wins. Was it more of confidence?
Yeah. That season was really nice for me, and I have to be honest. I finished 3rd in 2 points, but because I made 2 big mistakes during the season, so I've lost a lot of points. That was a good occasion to try to win a championship with the car that no one was using.
Right, sure.
I was the only driver using Reynard, but Prema Racing.
I saw that all of the rest were using
Dallara.
They were all Dallara. I think there was one more Reynard, and he was about 23rd, I think, or something like that.
yes. Yeah, but Prema Racing, it was a really good team.
Yeah.
To put the car in the best way to try win.
Yeah, it was Mr. Naspetti, wasn't it, who took the championship?
Yes.
You had a few battles with him. We're going to come to that.
Then he was my teammate.
Yeah, which must have been fun. One thing I do want to talk about, you had your first race out in Macau. Macau.
We've been unlucky because I had a crash in free practice. And when I went, the place there to fix the issue on the car is very close. So when I went in to make the first race, we discovered a problem in the car. There was suspension bended, so we couldn't fix on the starting line, and then it's gone.
So that was it. We've got a comment here from João Silva. Now I want to know about Naspetti. We'll come to that, João. Don't worry. We'll come to him. He just wouldn't leave you alone, would he? So I guess frustrated that you came 3rd. I mean, I think it was only 3 points between the top 3 of you guys. Was it Mauro Martini? I can't remember. But you made the step up into the International Formula 3000 series, which at the time, I remember watching this when I was young and thinking, you guys, anyone who got in those cars were absolutely crazy because they were so quick.
Yes. So weak.
Was it a big step up was that a big jump from F3 to F3000?
Yeah, it was.
I mean, I can remember watching, I think it was the international, there was a round at Brands Hatch. I think it was the year after Johnny Herbert had his accident.
Yes.
And just thinking, if I was in that situation, I'd go straight from F3 into F1 if I could. I'd want to avoid F3000 because it was crazy.
I had a big crash like that one in Pergusa with the Formula 3000.
Really?
When I was driving for 40 course. and then I will explain why in that year my career was like it's going down, down and down. I had a big crash. I crashed in the fast corner in 5th gear, flat out at 270 kilometers per hour. The black box goes down.
Wow.
There was a big hole in the chassis, but I didn't have any injury.
Wow.
Nothing.
Wow, that's amazing. Especially at that time when cars obviously, well, we saw Johnny Herbert's, his car broke apart. F1, Martin Donnelly, his car broke apart. But yours seem to have just stayed together enough by the sounds of it. In F3000, again, looking at it, your first race, you didn't qualify at Silverstone.
Yeah, because I was doing really a few testing on the car, so I just went there and go. So I said, "What? What's that? New circuits, new cars? Come on!"
Yeah, but then the very next race, you won at Vallelunga again.
Yeah, because Vallelunga was a bit close to my town.
It was a circuit you knew, but even so, it's still nice to win, isn't it? It's still nice to get the win, even if you maybe had the advantage of.
The truth, I was second. I finished seconds, and Donnelly was disqualified.
I see. It's Martin Donnelly, isn't it? It's always sneaky. Wow, we'll call it a win. That's what it's in the record books as. The rest of the year was a bit of a struggle, I guess, if you don't mind.
Yes.
Was it, again, just for circuits and the car and getting used to everything, was it?
If I have to talk about Formula 3000 in general, in my 3 seasons, they are very close in the same way. I mean, Formula 3000 was really competitive, how do you say, category. And the main thing to have the best car was to have the best engine, because the downforce was really high, and without engine there was no way to have any good performance. So many teams, I don't want to say the mine because it sounds like an excuse, but many teams during the season, they made the choice to put all the effort, all the money on one driver. So the beginning of the season, obviously, new cars, new engines, we were more or less all in the same level. Then don't making, renew in the engine.
Yeah.
They put your life in just down.
It just went wrong. Yeah, sure. I mean, I guess, that's like frustrating, but again, it's when there's only one driver that can be pushed, then so be it. Good question here from Sam Wallbank. Hello, Sam. Did you do the Birmingham Super Prix? Did you ever race in the street race we had here in Birmingham?
Yeah.
What a fact! I mean, it was a brilliant event for the fans. Obviously, the touring cars went there and all that. I think you're the first person I've spoken to who actually drove a single seat car around that circuit. Now, I've driven around it in my Vauxhall Insignia in the last 4 years, and I can't get my head around the fact that there was a circuit there. What was it like to drive?
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It was quite fast. It was like a square round, if I'm remembering, something like really square circuits.
It was a square with a hairpin at the end, yeah.
But I didn't race because I've crashed to avoid, I think, Donnelly again in the practice or in the qualifying. Yeah, to avoiding him in the wall, I was crashing, and the suspension went inside the chassis, so it passed just under my legs.
Wow! Oh, that's a lucky escape. It's that Donnelly again, isn't it?
I think Donnelly. If I remember, it was Donnelly.
Always in the way. Just very quickly, I mean, you mentioned how competitive the series was. Obviously, it's in terms of the teams and the engines and stuff. I just got a list of some of the names that were in F3000 when you were doing it. There was like Jean Alesi won the championship. I think Eric Comas won a championship. There was Marco Apicella, Eric Bernard, Eric van der Poel, Martin Donnelly, Eddie Irvine, Mark Blundell, JJ Leto, Paul Belmondo, Damon Hill, Eddie Irvine, Alan McNish, Gianni Morbidelli, Heinz Harold Frentzen, Christian Fittipaldi, Carl Wendling, Alex Zanardi. I mean, and that's all in the 3 years that you were racing. I mean, that is super competitive, isn't it? There's some...
Yeah, but even the Formula 3 was the same level, because there was the only category, the real only category to try to jump forward. So everyone went to Formula 3. Formula 3 was like about 45 cars every event. There was a pre-qualifying, pre-race. So you have to be pre-race to go in the second one. So everyone just went to race in that category.
I remember I was at the British Grand Prix weekend on the Saturday in 1988, and it was, I think, Hakkinen and Leto. No, Hakkinen and Salo were the two sort of guys at the front of F3 in the British F3, and there's loads of other names. And as you say, it was when they used to start at Silverstone on the straight before Copse Corner, you know, not the F1 bit that they use now. And the cars were lined up halfway down the straight, round Woodcote, and back to the chicane. Because the grid was so big, and as you say, it was super competitive.
Many races, many Formula 3000 races were in the same weekend of the Formula 1.
Yeah.
7 o'clock in the morning was the same weekend.
It was the pre-qualifying for the first bit and then the second, and so I mean, you left F3000 at the end of 1991. Was it a plan to go down a different route with racing into touring cars or something else, or was it just a case of?
No, if maybe you don't know, you don't remember, in 91 I was racing with Emanuele Naspetti in the 40 team. Emanuele Naspetti was the same driver when was racing in Formula 3 of 40, you know. And there was one event, I remember we were racing in France, Le Mans, the week later, Digione, something like that. So Naspetti was even racing with me with Peugeot in touring cars.
Yes.
In the same years. And because, as I said before, in one moment of the year, the team chose to go in one way or in another way, there was strange things. I mean, I didn't qualify in Le Mans, and Naspetti was fighting for the championship. 1 week later, 2 boxes of engine came to the team, into the box. They changed the engine. I went in and I made position 1 in free practice 1, position 1 in free practice 2, and I don't know if I did 4th in the qualifying. And Naspetti finished in the back of the grid. I said, "Did you make a mistake to change the engine?" They didn't say anything, and I'm sure they made a mistake to change the engine.
Oh wow!
I said, "This is the last time that you see my face in these cars." Say bye bye. So I jumped in touring cars.
Wow! So wow, that's amazing. I didn't know that.
True. It's true. 1 week later to Le Mans.
Wow!
Not qualifying. Wow. Position 1. I said, what? And why? In the same moment, two engines came to the box.
Yeah, there's
I'm
something.
I'm sure they made a mistake.
Yeah, they put the wrong one.
The mechanics made a mistake to put the engine on the car.
Wow.
So
crazy. I didn't know that's how your time in F3000 ended.
It's happening.
So I guess after that you were kind of happy to be out of there and with everything that was going on. Did you have any ideas about going to touring cars in the previous years, or was it just
No,
something that was available at the time.
But touring cars was quite interesting because there was DTM.
Yeah, that was huge then, wasn't it? Yeah.
And many drivers went paid a lot, even more than Formula One, like Larini or Nannini or all the Mercedes drivers. I said, why to lose time in here without any chance to go in Formula One when I can race, have fun, and earn money?
Yeah, and have some money in the pocket. Yeah. I mean, and so
because Peugeot was paying us, me and Emanuele, and Formula 3000 was the sponsor to pay us. It's a big difference.
It's much better to have the team paying you, isn't it?
Yes, definitely.
So, had you driven any touring cars before?
No.
Were you just sort of, right, let's go and do it, let's have some money, have some fun?
Yes. Yes.
So, I mean, I guess obviously the car is much heavier. It's got a roof. You're not sitting in the middle of it. There's no wings. It's a completely different car to drive. I mean, did you get used to it quite quickly?
Yes, because as a driver, maybe I'm a bit, you say, animal. I won't say. I really like to put myself on the car, not the car just bringing myself around. Touring cars is heavy, as you said, but you can feel something that's moving, so you can invent something. Right. For single seater, no, just pushing on the throttle and downforce and nothing to do a lot. I mean,
yeah, it was like the car does a lot of the work, I guess, for you.
It's like touring cars is like the karting in a bigger version.
Bigger.
But the feeling is the same, or it was the same in that moment.
Yeah.
Now touring cars are like a road car.
Yeah.
Maybe not BTCC, but TCR.
Yeah,
TCR
the road touring car.
Like a road car. Electric window, high condition, and power steering, whatever.
You got somewhere to put your cup, have a drink.
Yes. You don't feel anything. You don't feel the wheels. You don't feel wheel spin. You don't feel anything.
Yeah, it's almost like too comfortable, almost.
Yeah, too comfortable, right?
Yeah, yeah. So you got into. I mean, obviously, there was in the Italian Touring Car Championship, which obviously became European and everything. You were in like class 2, I suppose, weren't you, with the team and everything? And I've got here that you won 12 of the 15 rounds, I think it was, or you took the class win and you.
In which year? Sorry.
Is this 92? Was it the first season? I think it was 92.
Yes.
In the Peugeot, and
but because there was 2 categories. One was like DTM, something very close to DTM, and class S2. There was 2 liters cars. There wasn't a lot of cars. I mean, it was easy to win.
Yeah. But you still got to do it. You still had to go out and beat them. So, but you've got that. But obviously, when it switched in '93 to the, they didn't have any classes. It was just one big get together of cars. You had another strong year. I mean, I said, you finished. I've got here that you finished on the podium 12 times, took 5 wins, and you had a great battle with Mr. Roberto Ravaglia in the BMW. Now that I do remember.
I could win that. I could win the championship, but I lost because Ravaglia is really clever, and I was fighting with Gabriele, with Tarquini. Really? So we lose. We lose Ravaglia from our focus. Ravaglia was racing without making 2 noises, and Gabriele was just so I've lost. We were losing time to fight, and Ravaglia said bye.
You were trying to beat each other, and he just Oh, okay. But no, I just remember that era of like BMW. It was like the end of the 1980s, the start of 1990s. Remember it was Ravaglia and Cecotto were the 2 guys in BMW. But I've got here you were disqualified from a race at Misano that year. And that it looked like it was almost that cost you the title. Do you remember? Do you know what happened there?
I don't remember why. No, not really.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
It was probably Martin Donnelly, wasn't it?
Misano.
Yeah, I can't remember.
No, I don't remember why.
It just comes up as disqualified, but frustrating. But it was nice knowing that you could compete for the championship and everything. 94 though, there was another guy I've spoken to, Mr. Pirro, Emanuele Pirro.
The Audi. Yes, but the Audi they made big investment on the car.
They put a lot of money
everywhere because they won everywhere. They won in UK, they won in Italy, they won in Germany, they won everywhere. So there was big. The balance was really high on Audi. But anyway, I think we made a great season with an old car because the 155 was really old car, but really fun to drive.
Yeah. I mean,
did you watch the race between me and Wendlinger on Varano on the wet? You never seen that?
I've seen some footage of it. The wet race, you said, yeah.
Yes, the wet race.
Yeah,
it was great memory.
Absolutely brilliant. I mean,
with wipes against
the wipers going like that.
Yes.
No, if anyone's watching, definitely do find that race. It's quite something to see. But Alfa Romeo were on the up. They were putting some money in. Obviously, Gabrielli had won the British Touring Car Championship in '94, despite his role at Knock Hill that we all remember when he crashed.
Yeah, but Gabrielli was involved in the official teams. So
yes,
in the Alfa Romeo teams.
Yeah,
I was racing with the Nordauto team.
Nordauto.
There was an help from Alfa Romeo, but not the budget that they spent in UK with the Alfa Romeo official.
But I mean, you said like the 155 was like the old was becoming an old car. It's become like a classic among touring car fans of a certain age, my age, and things like that. Was it a good car to drive? Was it because it always looked great?
Yeah, it was really, really good to drive. Just real front wheel drive. So all in the front. The back was just something that moved around. Yeah, but it was funny car, really funny car. We made, but even the rules was open to works on the chassis, to cut the chassis in two parts and then welding again, up, down, engine up, engine down. That was great to work with the team, because the rules was really open to do that.
So you could just try lots of different things.
Yes.
And that sounds like fun. And then it's more fun to drive, I suppose. Excuse me. You took your first sort of full series win in, I think it was in that car at, where are we? Mugello. You took the win there, and that was your first win overall in the series. Came second overall. You came fifth overall that year, but obviously Audi was still strong, BMW still strong. Did you know that the Alfa Romeo 156 was coming, the next car, like the newer car?
Yeah, but the 156 was completely different projects. I mean, more on the four wheels, even lower car, wider car, and rear suspension, because there was a double wishbone in the front, not McPherson like the 155. So more way to fix the setup, and even more budget from Alfa Romeo.
Right. So it would just,
with the money you can develop. Without the money, you don't do nothing.
Yeah, exactly. That car, it was, it was 97 that year. There's like BMW. They were again strong. Mr. Naspetti was still quick. He's still being a pain for you. But you took 5 wins in 97 in the 156, which is impressive given what BMW were doing. But then into 1998, do you remember, were there any changes made within the team between 97 and 98? Because 98 went quite well, didn't it?
I don't know. You know, during the winter, we made a lot of testing. We made a lot of changes on the car. So I don't know because BMW was fast as a project, as a road car project. 156, it wasn't so good as it was the Series 3 on the BMW. I mean, compare road car and road car. So we had to work a lot on the car, and BMW, I think they didn't in the same way, because for German mentality, that is the project, that is the car, don't touch anything.
Right.
Italian style, you know, is just going around the rules and, you know, finding something. I think that is why we made the big jump in the develop compared to BMW.
Yeah, I mean, and it was quite a big jump. I guess, as you say, the German team were a bit more set in what they were doing.
But I can say that because later on I was driving BMW.
Yeah.
So I can say why.
Yeah, and I guess you could tell the difference in the approach.
It's different, completely different.
Yeah, sure. I remember Steve Soper said the same thing when he went to BMW. He just said, "Wow, just completely focused and didn't want to move from what they were doing."
I mean, driver has to drive, not talking about car.
Yeah.
In BMW, in Alfa Romeo, driver was involved in the project with the team.
Yeah, much more of a team feel, I guess.
Yes, it's why I didn't spend a lot of time with BMW.
It wasn't for you, huh?
No, not really. I discovered that before the first race.
Right. Fair enough.
I'm not politics guy. I have not career in front of me, so I can tell everything.
Yeah, it's fine. Just a question here from where are we? Daniel Del Basso. Hello, Daniel. He said, how was your experience with the Class 1 Alpha 155 in comparison with the Class 2 car?
I mean, sorry?
He said, did you have a different experience with the Class 1 Alpha 155 in comparison with the Class 2 car? I guess that's the change from the 5.5 to the 5.6, perhaps.
What do you mean, Class 1, Class 2?
Yeah, I think so. We'll see. Right, so 1998, obviously huge step forward with all the craziness that you guys were doing in between the two seasons. Did you expect to be as quick as you were that year in 98? Because
no, I discovered that when I was driving.
Yeah, the first race. You didn't think we can really go for it there, because I saw that you just took 3 wins in the first half of the year, but then the second half of the year you just went and won like 6 wins out of 7 or something. Did it feel like something changed during the season, or was it just a case of just working on the car and seeing?
Difficult to remember.
Yeah,
really difficult to remember. No, I cannot help you in this question.
No, I just saw the results and they went like that in the second half of the season. I just am wondering if there was anything that you did. I don't know, fixed a rocket to the back or something. Or but you won the championship that year, and I mean, you know, to have beaten Naspetti as well finally, because he'd been there the whole time. You must have been absolutely delighted to have won it.
Is when I beat Naspetti in the last race. It's 97, 98.
98 or 98 perhaps. Yeah, was it 99, 98, 99? But to get that first championship must have felt great.
I'm trying to think about about the season, but I make difficult to split the two seasons, 98, 99. I'm too old. or too many races.
Yeah, there's a lot of races to remember. I mean, but you won those two championships.
Yeah.
98 and 99. I saw that you had like a double win that year at like Mugello. It's another circuit that you seem to go well at there and like Vallelunga. Were they two of your more
Yeah,
favorite?
I honestly I don't like to drive in Mugello, but it's very strange. You have to understand it's not natural. Apex is not natural driving in the Mugello. You have to understand where to put the wheel, but it's not exciting me. I was really enjoying to drive in the Imola, the old Imola, not the new one. The new one is awful. The Imola before Ayrton. Then they made a modify. They just destroyed the circuits. But that was really the favorite circuit for me in Europe, I want to say.
Yeah. Oh, there we are. There's a question that's just popped up. Which is your favorite? You know, one of your favorite circuits? There you go, Imola, the proper Imola, the one before it got changed. Yeah. I think it was 99. I've just seen my notes here. 99. It was you had to stay ahead of Naspetti, I think, in the final round. Again at Vallelunga.
Yes, in the final. Yes. Now I remember that.
Were you kind of nervous that weekend? I mean, obviously you
not really, because before that race we were racing in Monza, and there was 50 point back to him, but they decide to make a crash together. He Emanuele and his teammate. I was called his teammate. Oh my God, I don't remember the name. So they crashed in the first chicane, the old Monza. You know, there was double chicane. Yes, and they crashed in that chicane, and Naspetti lost 45 points. So we went to Vallelunga with 5 points of difference, and they put really, again the possibility to win. So it made me really excited.
Yeah, because I guess before the round at Monza, you didn't really have much chance to win.
For me, it was just lost.
Like, it was like an exciting kind of bonus to have that opportunity. And you won the championship, of course. I think I can't remember what your results were, but I mean, did you enjoy the second championship more than the first? I guess the first one.
Yes, because I won that in the last event, in the last race of the last event.
Wow, and that's the best way to
win it. Quite the same with Plato in UK.
Yeah, we're gonna
later on.
Yeah, we're gonna have a chat about Plato. Thruxton. I remember watching it. Just very quickly skip on it. The Italian changed to the European touring car, and there's a few changes around like 2000, and there was a lot of new circuits. Obviously, you weren't just like limited to the Italian circuits. Had you driven around places? There's like what is now the Red Bull Ring, because they ruined it. But there was the Hungaro Ring and like Brno and all these other circuits. Had you raced there before, or did you have to learn?
No, I just have to learn during the weekend.
Wow, that's amazing, which makes the championship wins even more impressive. Because I mean, I guess, not saying the ones before weren't impressive, because they were, of course. But you knew the circuits you'd raced before. But these were ones brand new circuits.
I've been all the time. I was quite able to go inside the circuits and make a couple of laps to understand.
Yeah.
Even making mistake. I mean, one lap, second lap, out. So I was always looking for the limits immediately.
Yeah, it's the best way to be.
Even out of the limits.
Yeah. Just to know, well, if you want to know, I forget who said it, but if you want to know where the limit is, you have to go past it.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're never going to know.
It's why I hate the circuits, Formula One, the modern circuit of Formula One. So there is no limit. There's a corner, another corner, an exit, and
yeah, and there's concrete and more concrete and
yes, come on.
Yeah, there's like no circuit anymore, is there? It's just
gravel or wall.
Yeah, that's what we need. Yeah, see, I agree. I completely agree.
Is why I love English circuits.
Yes.
Tarmac, grass, wet, wall, tires, track tires full of dirt.
That's what we do. It hasn't really changed that much. I want to come to that very, very, very quickly. Sam Warbank has said that the circuits are too sanitized. Yes, exactly it. They're too safe. We don't want to see people get hurt, but you need a bit of danger there as well.
The English say is motor racing is dangerous, right?
Yeah.
Is what it has to be dangerous.
Otherwise, where's the excitement? If you don't,
yes,
you know, if you don't want danger, go and watch some snooker.
Do you remember the accident of McNish and Naspetti?
Was that at Donington?
Donington.
When
yes, when the car of McNish went down and he killed guys. The engine was
the engine came off. Yeah.
Yes, I was walking in the other side of the circuits.
Were you? Wow.
I saw everything.
Oh my goodness. Because that was what, 1990? Was it 1990?
1990, yes.
Something like that. Awful accident, that one. Really awful. But, you know, that's how circuits were, wasn't it? Just want to sort of fast forward. I mean, you won your 3 more titles in the European Championship. Peter Cox came along with Honda and they were strong. And
even Gabriele. I want to say he lost the championship.
He was in the Accord, wasn't he? The Honda Accord.
Yes, very strong car, very fast car.
Yeah, they were very good. I mean, and it was the start of, I guess, like we had like the Super Touring and the new regulations and things like that. Were you concerned, obviously, as a double, triple champion, when these regulations came in? Were you worried that it was going to, I don't know, just change the car, the setup, change the way things were done, or was it just a case of we've got to go and race?
We start again. Yeah, no, I never been worried in my life.
Excellent.
About racing.
That's a great line. I love that. Just very quickly, it was around this time you got into an F1 car, didn't you? You tested the Ferrari.
Yes, when Badoer made an accident in Barcelona.
Yeah, he was quite bad.
Yeah, it was a proper test. I mean, it was an aerodynamic test. I was working with Allison, that now is in McLaren. No, Mercedes.
Mercedes now, yeah.
Mercedes, right. I was doing aerodynamic test. So, yeah, it's good fun. I mean, I wasn't using single seater since 91.
Yeah,
but I wasn't surprised. I mean, it was really, electronic cars. So very easy to drive. Very easy to drive. Powerful, obviously. Noisy. Had 20,000 revs in the engine.
Wow.
Yeah. Very fun, but very easy.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, I've spoken with a number of guys who have gone in, not had a career in F1, but have driven F1 cars, like Tom Coronel. There's like Will Power, the IndyCar driver. He tested for Minardi. Alonso Jr. tested for Williams. They all said that they were impressed with the speed and the braking, but there was no fun in it. It felt too.
Yeah, even.
And they thought in their head it was going to be a bit more crazy than it was.
Yes, but brakes. I mean, with the 3 tons of downforce, carbon brakes. On the brakes, you haven't to make careful to push on the pedal to avoid it, to lock the wheels. Just pushing 150 psi, and who cares?
Wow.
Is why it was easy. I mean, touring cars, heavy cars, you have to be careful to avoid locking front wheels or whatever. Formula 1, just bam.
Yeah, just go. Wow. Touring cars, the British Touring Car Championship. This is what a lot of the Brits have tuned in to hear about. How did the move to the British Touring Car Championship come about?
I moved in the UK. It was strange situation. I mean, the Alfa Romeo program was in doubt in that moment, and until September. And when they decided to close the program, I was, looking something to do. And in the same times, Ivan Muller was moving from UK to World Touring Car.
Right.
So yeah, I just made a call to Ian Harrison, and Ian said, "Okay, come on."
Wow.
Just
Very cool.
just one call.
And he invited you over, and obviously you got the drive with like 888 in the Vauxhall. How much
Nightmare Vauxhall.
Was it the Astra, wasn't it?
The Astra. Yeah, but Ivan is a good driver, really good driver, but he's driving completely different way. Different way. He was using a negative camber in the back.
Right.
In the same time, I was using 7 degrees positive camber in my car. So when I tried this car, I said, "Okay, but I cannot drive this car." He was using the left foot on the brakes. I was using the right. because I wasn't preferring downshift with using clutch to avoiding locking. So completely different driving. I said, okay, Ivan is the best driver, but I cannot drive this car. So we have to modify.
Yeah, changed it completely.
Then during the season, it was done.
Yeah, it took a while to get.
Not a lot, because the program was to change the car,
Yeah.
The years later, we swapped to the Astra, to the Vectra.
Excuse me. When you first raced in the British Touring Car Championship, obviously it's quite well known now for being slightly different to any other touring car championship. It's all, it's
slightly different. It's completely different.
And it was back then as well. If you can't compare the British Touring Car Championship to the Australian Championship to the World Touring Car, you can't compare it. It's crazy. In the first race, what did you think? Were you thinking, "Oh my, what am what am I doing here?"
But it's true, because first difficult, I wasn't talking any English.
Right.
So nightmare. Seconds, I knew some circuits. I make Silverstone, Brands Hatch, Donington.
Yeah.
That's it. But when I was coming in Traxton, or Knockhill, or Snetterton, or Woolton Park, oh my God. Okay. Even my approach was too soft.
Right.
I want to come inside, make good guys, good boy. So everyone, ping, pong, bam. Yeah. After 5 races, I say, okay, now I'm changing mood. Okay. Giovanardi is back.
Oh, terrific. Even in that first year, you got your first podium finish at Alton Park. So obviously you're getting the car set up a bit better, getting changed, you're getting used to people driving like that. And where we've got here, was it you took your first win? Was that first year? I think, was it at Knockhill?
Yes.
Or was it the Knockhill? What a circuit that is! Even by UK
standards, motocross circuit.
Yeah. There is nothing like Knockhill anywhere else in the UK. No. It's incredible, even as a spectator. Was it a circuit that you enjoyed racing at?
Yes.
Yeah, because it's just
that one, Woolton Park. Yeah, I love the old style circuits. So when you make a mistake, you are dead.
Yeah, you're in a lot of trouble. Yeah, it is, obviously, to get the first win in the series as well at Knockhill, it's a tough circuit. It's a long way from anywhere as well. Knockhill.
It's raining a lot.
It's a long way. You took 5th in that first season. overall. We came fifth in the championship with another win at Brands Hatch, another circuit you said you liked. Were you happy with that first year? But you were obviously
I was happy because I've started to see, the light, the exit of the tunnel. Because first part of season, I'm then okay. I can race even over UK, not just in Italy.
Yes, you can. Yeah, it's another thing you can do. You changed to the Vauxhall Vectra, which was obviously a completely different car. Were you aiming at the championship? Were you thinking, right, I've had a year, we've got a new car, we can really do well this year?
Yes, because car is like a shirt or tie. You have to put on yourself for what you need. And the Vector was completely white sheet of paper. So we start to work I won't say in my way because I wasn't the engineers, but we worked together to find the best feeling for the car. And I had a good feeling immediately over the winter that it could be a really different season.
Yeah. And obviously you were strong all the way through the year. There was another fella who was quite strong that year. We mentioned him earlier on. A guy in a Seat called Jason Plato.
First of all, I'm really good friend of Jason. Really good friend. So
I spoke with Jason last year.
And he's really good friend. I have on my phone one nice pictures that I was watching girls, and they was side to me just laughing. Yeah. I met Jason during the World Championship in Silverstone. He was driving the Seat. He did Silverstone and Spa.
Right.
And in that race, after two corners, one car just spun myself. I was reading on the glass Jason Plato. So who is this guys? So then I met him in Spa, and there was the reverse grid in the second races. In the end of in the last lap, before the last corner, he was 8th, I was 9th. I just went inside himself. I finished 8th, he was finished 9th, and then I won the second race. Then never seen any more Jason. When I came with the Astra and the first race on Brands Hatch, the short one.
Oh yeah, the Indy circuit.
We started the race. We went to the last corner. I don't remember the name. The corner that put again in the starting line.
Yeah, it's like Clearways and Clark Curve. And,
there was a lot of traffic, and then in my back, Plato. And another lap, same place, traffic, Plato. Again. So I left himself to overtake myself. You can ask to him on the street line. I went back to him in the same corner. I was flat out on the throttle. I spun himself in the wall. I said, after the race, Jason started, Giovanardi, blah, 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 blah. I said, Jason, if you respect me, I respect you. If you don't respect me, all the race, you finish in the wall. We did 3 seasons without touch anyone. You can ask him.
He knew all about you from then on.
When you met Plato, I said, Giovanardi was talking about this event.
I absolutely will. But I mean, he did say that he actually loved.
He's really clever on the car. He's really clever. He's never involved. It's never his fault.
Of course.
It's never his fault. I said, mate.
Oh dear. Why do I get the feeling that an evening down the pub with you and Jason would be a lot of fun?
Oh my God. I have the last time I was with him in Knockhill, we were, after the race, we went to Edinburgh me, him, and Ian Harrison. That two guys, they put myself into the bar and they said, "Okay, you have a beer? Okay, when we hit later." Another bar, another beer, another bar, another beer, another bar, another beer. I just remember when I was waking up in the morning later.
Something happened in between.
Yeah, I don't know what. Say two bastards.
That sounds about right. Yeah, brilliant. Going back on track with Jason, we all know how the season ended at Thruxton. Obviously, he was ahead of you going into the final round. What happened? Because it was spectacular.
I know Jason. In that occasion, I think he was playing the last card.
Yeah.
And when I started in front of him before the big chicane, I don't remember the name of the corners. So after the start, there is the right one, then a small hill, and then the big area.
Campbell, Cobb, Seagrave, the complex.
And he tried to come inside myself so fast that for me, or for him, it was impossible to make the corner.
Yeah,
I saw him in the mirror, and I decided to go straight on. He was surprised because I didn't try to make the corner at all.
He just went, nope.
When I saw himself inside, I said, no, guys, flat out, straight on. And he went with me. Is why I'm not being disqualified, because he went inside so fast that even for him, it was impossible to make the chicane.
Yeah.
So he went straight on.
Even by Jason Plato standards, it was great. It was crazy.
We did the same at Thruxton, Ulton Park. No, when we went on the cross, Snetterton.
Yeah, I'm trying to think where that was now. Was it Snetterton? Snetterton.
Yeah, Snetterton.
Yeah, same thing again. Absolutely superb. But I mean, you said that it was like Jason's played his last card. It was his last roll of the dice. It didn't work, and you won the championship in that final round. It must have felt great to have obviously won the championship in Italy and then in the European, and then to come to the BTCC and do it in a completely different style of driving in a championship. It must have felt fantastic.
Yeah, obviously when you win everywhere, because when you're racing always in the same place, even people watching racing, they just thinking, okay, is he strong because he just ignore his circuits. Then when you take out of your country your ability and you get the results, it's great.
Yeah, it's nice to say to other people, well, look, I've just won here as well, so yeah. In the following year, 2008, was the car much better than the year before? Or was it just a progression from what you'd done? Because it felt like it wasn't quite so crazy that year from the fans' side watching.
Not really different, the car. I mean, the Seat, it was stronger on the engine because the diesel engine was really fast. But in the same time, Jason was unlucky because he broke the engine a lot of times.
Yeah, he had a few.
He lost a lot of race when he was in front. But because I was noticed this particular problem on the Seat, I didn't get too aggressive with him. I was just watching on the back and waiting the explosion of the engine.
Yeah, just waiting for it to go wrong.
I mean, the first season, 2007, I was more aggressive. The second one, I was more waiting, as you say.
A bit more controlled, almost.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that, because that's what I got from watching it. I thought he's won the championship, but a completely different way of doing it. And obviously, you won it with two.
I was more using the head.
It was with the brain, not the feet and the hands. It was. But that second championship, you won it with 2 races to go. I think it was the first race of the last round. You were crowned as champion. But the car didn't start for the second race.
Yes, we had the electric problem.
Oh, okay.
And they didn't have a time to fix the problem, so I said, okay.
Leave it. Yeah.
Finish.
I guess it didn't matter, did it? So
no, that's right.
So double check. I just want to talk very quickly. That year, you raced in the Bathurst 1000, or you went down to Bathurst. I think it was that year.
Difficult.
Yeah, I mean,
Bathurst is really difficult.
I was going to say,
all drivers say to me before to go there, is careful because Australian car, they are really different. Yeah. It's true, but it's the rules of the car without the differential in the back, very moving car, very downforce car. So the feeling is strange and powerful car because quick. Speed is amazing.
Yeah, because were you in the Holden?
Yes,
the Holden you were in.
Triple eight car.
Yeah, I mean that car on that circuit for the first time around. I mean,
it was 7 seconds lower in the first practice. 7 seconds lower of everyone. Not me. Wow. I want to say international driver. Compare the first position of 7.
Wow,
it was a nightmare for me.
That's pretty much the whole length of the Conrad Straight, isn't it? The 7 seconds.
No, okay. You go there just to make one race.
Yeah.
You have not to take any risk. The car is different. The circuit is very dangerous, very fast. You don't feel the car. You have to change completely driving, and you're driving careful. But then later on, I've destroyed the car in qualifying. I've destroyed the car in qualifying.
Whoops!
I broke 2 ribs.
Really?
Oh. Yes. And then I've raced with 2 ribs broken. Pain.
Wow. Your first Bathurst 1000, 2 broken ribs in a while.
Yes.
What happened? Did you have an accident? Was it on the mountain or was it?
There is you're going up, and then there is a chicane in the downhill.
The skyline and
Yes, I've lost the back in braking, and then I went to the wall, to the jersey, like that.
Ow! Oh, that's not the place.
I've broken the seat.
That's not the place to crash. Ouch! But everyone I've spoken to on here who's raced at Bathurst, I've spoken to like Rickard Rydell and Matt Neal and John Cleland. He had some great stories about it, and like Rob Gravitt and all these guys. They've all said it's just the most incredible circuit. It doesn't matter what car you're in. They all loved it. Did you enjoy the circuit eventually?
Yes. Yeah.
Without the ribs.
It's a road car circuit, but street circuits, but it's very funny when you start to understand where you are. It's very fun. It's fun because that car is fun,
right?
With the 2 liters car over there, you just get lost. Over
gone. Back to the BTCC. 2009. I remember this year. It was the year. I have to remind you, this was the year that like Colin Turkington won it.
Yes, but even that season we could win the championship. Well, we made a couple of mistakes. I was not really lucky in Silverstone. No, sorry, Donington. Yes, in Donington, I made pole position in the qualifying, and the car didn't start on the weight balance, so I had to start in the back.
Yeah.
And one guy was driving what car? The blue car, the Hyundai. No.
Was it the Chevrolet? The
Chevrolet, right? Chevrolet. And he pushed me out, so I've lost a lot of points over there. And in the end of the year, I paid.
Yeah, because I mean it was close, and obviously it was like it was like Colin Turkington won it, and it was
Colin is he's a very strong driver.
Yeah, and he's still going strong. He's obviously back at West Surrey Racing this year. He's still going.
He's still racing.
Yeah, he's still going. he's going into this season. He's at West Surrey Racing again, the BMW with Dick Bennett, and yeah, it should be good. But he won it that year. But it was him and you and Jason again, just together all season, and it was a fantastic season. It's one that I remember. Obviously, with a bit more luck, you could have been the champion for the third year in a row.
Yeah, but we could win. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
he won. Colin won.
Whether you don't, yeah.
But,
did you enjoy that year? Even if it wasn't.
I'm really like to fight. I'm not like to win easy. I had time in my career that was too easy to drive the car, too easy to win the championship. I'm really enjoy when the adrenaline goes up, you have to play the last card in the last moment.
Yeah,
that is great. It's a great championship to win. When you win easy with the smoking cigarettes,
one hand,
boring. Yeah, it's boring.
Yeah.
It's really boring.
I love that. That's a proper racer talking there. You got to win it. You know, you have to earn your win. Diffan Evans, he said it was Harry Volkard was the guy in the.
Harry Volkard, right. There is a fun pictures on the Facebook. I was really tried to eat himself.
God, Harry,
I've got the pictures. I've got the picture on the phone. I don't know if you can see it, but
we're gonna try and find it. If you can find it, that'd be great.
Can you see it? This is what was talking before. Jason, can you hear? Can you see? Sorry. Can you see?
That's it. Oh yeah, I see. Oh, brilliant! I love it.
I got Walker.
I love that.
This is a big talking with Colin.
Oh yeah, brilliant. Oh goodness!
I'm sorry because you cannot see really clean this, and this is with Volker. Look at that.
Bit bright.
Can you see?
It's a little bit bright. Oh, there we are. Yeah, I see him. Yeah. Oh dear.
I was a bit angry. Just a bit. Yeah.
I've just remembered something. I had a message from Paul O'Neill. Now I know you know Paul O'Neill. Everyone loves Paul O'Neill.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Ask you about when he had to borrow some race overalls and stuff from you.
Yes,
at Croft. He said that's a great story and that I should get you to try and explain it for us.
Yeah, it's true. He's a good guy. I'm really I have friends. I mean, over racing. I'm like to have friends out of the car. I'm a good friend of Matt Neal. I'm a good friend of Plato. I'm a good friend of Paul O'Neill. I'm a good friend of Gabriele. But then is another history. Respect.
Yeah, definitely. I think though he said that you lent him a race suit, or he borrowed it from you. And as far as I'm aware, he didn't give it back to you because I saw on social media that Paul had sold it to someone.
Yes.
And it's in a frame on someone's wall.
Good. I hope for him that he's earned a lot of money.
I think he said that he did make quite a bit of money out of it, saying, "Oh, I've got Giovanardi."
He became rich, I'm sure.
But the person did say that if you want that suit back, then you can make him an offer with some money.
Okay.
Oh, brilliant! I love it.
Euros.
Excellent. Moving on to 2010, that was a strange year, wasn't it? Because you started so well at Thruxton. You had the sponsorship, and you started so well at Thruxton. You were leading the championship.
Yeah, it's a sponsorship history. Just disappear.
They just did they just pull out?
Boxer stopped the program, so there was no money anymore from the company, and that sponsor was sponsored them for in maybe all the season, but then it disappeared. It's really shame because the start of the season was really without make any test. I was just jumped in the car that week after the last race of the season.
And that was at Thruxton, wasn't it? I think it was
Thruxton. Yes.
And you went and you won, and
2 races, a fifth, and finished fifth in the third one.
Yeah,
I've been leading the championship for 3 races. I think.
Yeah, you were the champion of the first round. You were
Yes. Watching home, leading the championship, watching the race at home.
That must have been very strange, thinking that I was doing that
Yes,
2 weeks ago. I think that answers a question from Diffan. He asked about that first that first part of the season. How did you find out that they had pulled out? Did you just get a phone call and say, right, that's it?
Yeah.
Completely out of
in the end of the weekend. I said, can I leave the helmet? So I'm taking the helmet home.
What was that, on the Sunday?
Yes.
Oh my God. So you'd won the races and they just said, right, that's it, no more. Oh my goodness.
No, they didn't know.
Yeah.
Ian was wishing to continue the season, but they didn't know.
Wow.
Later on.
That's crazy.
It's a shame. Anyway.
That's crazy. I can't believe it was like that no one knew. Wow. I mean, but you ended up in the International Superstar Series that year doing a bit of racing and things like that. I mean, was it just
strange category?
Just
very strange category.
It was an odd one, wasn't it? It was, peculiar.
Yeah, strange category. Big cars, but not fun. Not much fun.
Yeah, fair enough. And I guess there wasn't any other option to go elsewhere in the British touring cars.
After the 2009 racing, it just dropped down.
Yeah, it did. The whole thing kind of went, didn't it? And you did you did another race in Australia.
Sorry, I forgot to plug the.
No, that's all right. That's all right. That's all right. This is very good, isn't it, folks? Thank you for tuning in, everyone. This is excellent. You do enjoy this. There we are.
I'm coming.
It's all right. Thank you, folks, for tuning in. We are going to come to some of your questions. I have seen them all at the side. We're going to come to them at the end because they're all about favourite cars and favourite drivers and all that kind of thing. So we're going to come to that.
Here we are.
Here we are. We're back.
Sorry.
Pit stop.
We are online again.
Pit stop completed. Fantastic. Yes. So it was a strange year, but you did another race. Well, you did some more racing in Australia. Did some at Surfers Paradise. Fantastic circuit. Really love that one. I remember watching Nigel Mansell win there in IndyCar, which was very cool. I think you drove the Vauxhall Vectra, the Holden Commodore on the Ford Falcon within the same season, I think, or something like that. There's some pretty cool cars to be driving. But between sort of 2010 and sort of 2013, you only did a few races in a few different series here and there. Was that the plan?
Just try to stay involved in a racing, to waiting something better for the futures. I mean, 2009 was really credit crunch. Then all the manufacturers decide to stop to involve to invest in racing. So in your head you said more or less we will finish this situation. So you just try to stay in. But coming to BTCC made myself in the position to be cut from a European to World Touring Car Championship because the places are really few, and all places were occupied from big drivers. So I've been 4 years out of the world,
Yeah, out of the, you've been out of the European kind of spotlight or the world spotlight. Yeah. But you came back to the BTCC in 2014 in one of my favorite touring cars ever in terms of the airwaves focus. I know it wasn't great on track, but it looked brilliant.
Different, strange situation. I mean, that car for me was a bit nightmare, like it was the Astra, in the beginning.
Right. It was the next generation car, wasn't it?
Yes. There's nothing to be changed. Just that is the car. Okay. Right. Bad feeling, really bad feeling. So I never been really on the car, and I really need to feel the car as I want. If I have to drive something that I don't like, I make it difficult. I mean, maybe 20 years earlier it could be different. When you reaching with age, as you say, for yourself, it's difficult to be adapt at the car. You want that the car has been adapted to you.
Sure.
The experience, the experience is you're growing, and then you want that the words following you, not you on the following the word.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of, you kind of want the car your way rather than having to change and adapt. And but you still put it on the podium once at Thruxton. Was it Thruxton? Yes, at Thruxton again. Again, a circuit you seem to do quite well at, and it's my nearest one.
It's like Thruxton. It's
Yeah,
Pergusa. It's really similar. Fast, really strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very close to as a design.
Yeah. Not much braking. It's just it's just fast, and it's just down the road from me here, which is very cool. But I mean, did you have any plans to stay in the British Touring Car Championship after that, or were you just thinking?
Not really. When you feel that it's time to not stop, it's not anymore your space. You have to move just close between two walls.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
Yeah, sure.
You don't see the target.
Right.
You don't see the target when you're racing with manufacturers. There is one target.
Yeah.
We spend money, but we want the target. When you race in a team, in a championship where all the cars are the same, all the tires are the same, the target, which is the target? To make good results, to have a bit more money the years later. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm clear.
Yeah, I guess in the British Touring Car
different point of view, completely two different point of view.
Yeah. And I guess in the British Touring Car Championship, the aim is just to survive sometimes, isn't it? It's just to get through the race, because it's crazy sometimes. Good question there from like Diffan Evans. It says, have you done any TCR racing? I know you've done some, haven't you? You did a couple of races.
I did TCR I did one in Vallelunga.
That's it.
I don't remember the year. 2000, no. 18, no, 17, 16, I don't remember. And then I did the World Touring Cars.
Yeah, in 18, wasn't it?
The WTCR.
Yeah, or whatever it is now. It's
yes, I don't know what was.
Touring Car World Cup thing, isn't it? But again, that series is a completely different style again to the BTCC.
Yeah, completely road car.
Yeah,
completely road car.
And back in the Alfa Romeo,
yes, it was an Alfa Romeo, and I had good expectation in that season, because the owner of the team, it was really rich guys, because now he's died. It was really rich guys, and I was expecting investment on the car, because the first time I saw the car, I said, where you want to go with this car? My experience say that with this car, you can do nothing if you don't do changes, because it's completely road car. I mean, suspension was the proper road car. In the same times, the Hyundai was a racing car. So you cannot expect that I make miracle. I don't do miracle. Okay, I'm driving the car, I'm developing the car, I have to work with team to develop the car to win. But if we come back to the talking about the Astra, I'm coming in the car that is not my type. Yeah. So I didn't be so far from the results. I mean, we can start in the back of the grid, and it was. We started in the back of the grid.
That's where you were.
It was a surprise. And then I was pushing to have a good engineers, and the engineers came from my whole team, no doubt, Alfa Romeo. and they start to make some changes on the car. Is why I've kept it to China without making any more changes. And when we came to China, and we had 2 races in 1 week, the car was in the right condition. We had turbo problems, so I started 6 times last. I said, "Come on, if you cut my legs, I can drive without legs and not finish last.
Yeah.
So I have no time to lose.
Yeah.
This is the key.
Yeah.
Bye bye." I took the plane and finished. Game over.
All done. Yeah, dear. Not what you had in mind, I'm sure. Excuse me. Did you know that I think that was your last full season in touring car racing, in 2018? Did you know at the time? Did you start thinking, right, that's it, or were you looking at other things?
What I did.
But you just thought
finish. I had some calling to start again in the Italian Championship with the TCR. I said, "Come on, I don't want to start with the motocross and the karting and the TCR in Italy to do what?"
Yeah. You've kind of done it, and you've done it, and you've won. You know.
I've been involved in 24 hours in Nürburgring with the prototype car. That was a new experience. I mean, there was funny car, strange car, but I really enjoyed that. Yeah. But if I have to go to race just to race, no, I'm racing with the motorbike. I'm racing in enduro. I'm in building. We call it speed down. It's a gravity car. I developed a car to make gravity races.
So just like doing something new, something different. Yes. Yeah, I guess when you've already done so much, you want to find new things. This is great. Fair enough. Excuse me. Sorry.
It's the English weather.
I was just going to say it's the English damp. It's cold. Just very quickly on the subject of World Touring Car, obviously it's gone the way it's been the last few years, and now it's gone to the World Touring Car Cup. Now, there's 5 people in my mind who are touring car experts, right? There's Ivan Muller, Gabriele Tarquini, Andy Prio, Jason Plato, and you. So I'm going to ask you about this. I mean, what are your thoughts on what's happening with the World Touring Car Championship? Because it's kind of lost its way, isn't it? Have you sort of? It's kind of the WTCR has ended. It's now gone into this World Cup thing. No one seems to know exactly what's happening. It's a shame, isn't it? Because it used to be fantastic.
Yeah, it's a shame, but I think after the 2006, 2005, when touring cars was international championship. In the end of the year, there was the best 5 driver of each championship was involved in the same race.
Like a shootout type thing. It was like
the first time was Monza. The second one it was UK. I think. Then another times, and then FIA just cut the head of the championship because it was start to be too interesting. I think touring cars in that rules could be really funny. Now it's boring. No one's touch. No one's doing nothing. It's just
It's as fans, you're going to get excited about it.
Even the young guys now, they are not interested in, we'll say, a lot in racing car. They are interested in electronics car. Big dashboard or whatever.
All the buttons and
we come from another ages. I mean, when there was fighting, really fighting.
Yeah.
Inside, outside.
Yeah, it's certainly changed a lot. And I think touring cars generally are like suffering. I mean, the Australian series has started at the weekend. The supercars, and they've got Chevrolet in there now, and that's always quite exciting. But the cars aren't as electronic as they are over here and in Europe. Right, I saw a question earlier on, just before we wrap things up. Andrew Edwards asked a question. You know the old Ford Sierra RS 500 from the 1980s, the absolute monster. Have you ever driven one of those? And would you like to?
Yes. Proper car for proper driver.
Yes, absolutely. We have to try and. I think I know a couple of people that own them. We'll have to try and make it happen.
3 years ago, I went close to Naples. I was invited in a small event in a small circuits, and one of the guys was owner of one of my 155. I drove that car. I said I was scared. I said I was driving this car 20 years ago. Oh my God! Yeah, I was scared to drive that car.
Wow!
Because I was back in time, back in feeling. After the TCR, it was like to come in the dinosaur ages, but fun car because again, the feeling of the racing, the feeling of everything.
Fantastic! Wow. That's amazing. Yeah, Sam has just said about the RS 500, which is probably the same. You got more power than grip. Yes. That's going to keep you on your toes. I think we've covered all the questions that people have had, I think. Yeah, I've got a couple more which we're going to cover now. We always try and end with some fun questions because you've had a run through your career. When you were growing up, did you have any favourite drivers? Anyone that you looked up to when you were a child? Like people of my age, we all looked up to Ayrton Senna, Nigel Mansell, these kinds of guys. Did you have anyone?
Yeah, not really one. I mean, I was really enjoying, again, the fighting between driver with character, even out of the racing. I mean, Nigel Mansell, Alain Prost, Ayrton Senna. I was loving watching these guys, even in the briefing, fighting together.
Yeah, just trying to.
Now, when I'm watching Formula One now, they are like too clean. They cannot say anything out of the line. No, it's not my war. It couldn't be my war.
Yeah, it's too. I don't know. It's too clean. They don't want to say anything.
Yeah, it's too clean. It's too clean. I love to see Alonso racing because he's coming from old ages.
Yeah,
it seems they don't care.
Yeah,
they don't care. Yeah, they don't care. But even the Red Bull guys, it looks he don't care.
Yeah, they just look a bit. Yeah. Oh, there's a good comment here. Again, Andrew Edwards. He just said here, how about Fabrizio driving one? I think this is an RS 500. How about Fabrizio driving an RS 500 up the hill at Goodwood, Festival of Speed?
I've been watching once to Goodwood. I've been invited 2 years ago because there was the 50 years of the touring cars.
Yeah,
but I wasn't. I would say free to come over there.
Yeah. Now I have to get you in an RS 500 or something, or in the Alpha going up the hill. That'd be good. Yes, we'd like to see that. Okay. Is there any other series that you'd like to have a go in, whether it be, I don't know, NASCAR or
rally car?
Rallying. Oh, good answer.
Rally. I made 2 times regional rally around my. Yeah, I really enjoy that.
Yeah.
But I'm too old now. I need the glasses so I can drive.
That's good because we had Mark Sura was on a few weeks ago, and he said he's driven in F1, he's driven in many things, but he said that nothing could beat the excitement and the skill of driving a rally car, which I thought was fantastic. Rally drivers don't get the credit they deserve, but no, that's cool. Rallying would have been good. A lot of people asking if you still follow the British Touring Car Championship.
No, really. I don't follow anything.
Yeah,
I don't follow racing because I want to be involved in racing. I don't care to watching.
It's too difficult. It's too hard to watch.
Yes, because I want to be him.
Yeah, not
Not out.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, last couple of questions. I think that someone else asked this earlier on. What's the best car you've ever raced and the worst?
The best is the 155.
Yeah.
The worst, the Astra.
I thought it might be.
The Astra.
Yeah. No, cool. Okay, your favourite circuit that you've ever raced on?
The South African circuits.
Is it Kyalami?
Yes, Kyalami.
Kyalami.
I've been there. I've been there testing tires with the touring cars, and I saw again the whole Imola.
Oh,
uphill, downhill, fast, really fast. Yeah, I'm like this kind of circuits.
Yeah,
not the flat circuits.
You need a proper circuit built on a hill, and yeah. I think you're the first person that's ever said Kyalami. We like that a lot. Actually, while we're on that subject, just before we go, very quickly, we always talk about Brands Hatch on here. We always come back to Brands Hatch. Everyone who comes on here, we mention Brands Hatch, whether it be Mario Andretti or Danny Sullivan or Willie Ribbs or anyone like that. They all love racing at Brands Hatch. Did you enjoy Brands Hatch?
Yes, but Brands Hatch, you have to know Brands Hatch.
Yeah,
because the line is not the line that you expect to do. Nothing is normal. Nothing is on the way. So you have to come there once, twice. Then you have to put an effort to change your driving style to understand the circuits. But then when you understand, you make the difference.
Yeah, brilliant. There's a BTCC related question there, which, okay, very quickly. Okay. Diffan Evans, last question. In the BTCC with the third race, they do the reverse grid draw, pull the ball out of a hat and reverse from that. If you were invited to do that draw at a British Touring Car Championship round, would you come and do it?
I don't understand the question.
Basically, on the third race of the weekend, they've got like a bowl full of balls.
Yeah.
If they invited you to come and do that draw,
no.
Would you come over and do it? I think he'd love to see it. Come over for the weekend.
But without a race?
Well,
just taking the ball.
They have got to throw. They've got to throw some demonstration laps in as well. There you go. You got to do that.
Why not?
Right.
Make this true, and then I will give you the answer.
I'm going to talk to Paul O'Neill. I'm going to ask him because he's the commentator. So, okay, leave it with me. Right. Final question, because we've run on a bit longer than planned. You've raced against lots and lots of drivers. I'm not going to name them all, just some. I mean, but in touring cars and in single seaters, you've raced even if it's only once or twice. You've raced against like Dario Franchitti, Jan Magnussen, Fisichella, Rosberg, Soper, Dalmas, Plato, Neal, Winkelhock, Stefano Modena, Johnny Cecotto. You've raced against Rickard Rydell, Ivan Muller. So many guys that you've raced against. Even guys like Craig Lowndes, Jamie Whincup in Australia, Rob Huff, Michelitz. All these. Is there one that stands out in your mind as being the best or the most talented or the hardest or?
No, many. I mean, everyone have a different characteristic, but obviously the touring car drivers, the old style touring car drivers, I think they've been in the position to show you the real characters. Single seater doesn't give you the same way to show yourself.
Sure.
Touring cars make this, and I had good fun with many. I said again, Plato, Neil, Shedden. I don't remember all name. Priu, Coronel is fun, guys.
Tom's crazy.
Coronel is really fun, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to enjoy the weekend, you have to stay with Coronel.
Could you imagine Coronel and Plato? In the pub.
Coronel has been teammate of Gianni Morbidelli 1 year in 2000 when he was
Wow.
talking, because Coronel is an animal, and Gianni is a lady. I mean, is making t-shirts just banded in the right position inside the plastic bag, and Coronel was taking the shirts, putting in the bin through, and and Morbidelli became crazy, and Cornell was explaining that moment. It was so fun. He's very, he's really funny guy.
Oh, brilliant! I love it. We like to end on a laugh. Oh, he said maybe Fabrizio could drive the safety car in the British Touring Car Championship.
No way.
Yeah, maybe not. I won't mention that to Paul. No, brilliant. Oh, I'm laughing. Excellent. Right, I think it's been, the time's absolutely flown, but it's been an hour and 45 minutes. But we're going to finish it there. Thank you so much for coming on and having a chat with us. It's been great fun, and it's been great hearing about all the different cars and series and everything else. So yeah, thank you very much for coming on. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Fantastic. And thank you to everyone who's tuned in. Really, really appreciate it. And we are announcing another live chat for next week tomorrow, so do stick with us. But for now, thank you guys, and thank you once again, Fabrizio, and good night, everyone.
Bye.
Good night.